right, well, thank you so much for being here. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Tally. I'm the CEO of Bravo. I'm a fifth generation pawnbroker. I grew up in the pawn industry. I am here to help answer any questions about product. If you're curious about Bravo as a company, who we are, where we're trying to go, and talk about some of the whys behind why we merged with PawnMaster. I'd love to help anybody with sort of change management. If you're interested in selling online, if you have questions about what mobile payments Store Finder can do for your business, I'm here to answer all of those questions. And online with me, I have Kristy Bauer. Kristy is our Chief of Staff. She's been at Bravo for, I think, more than 8 years now. And she has headed up just about every single department, from marketing to sales to product. She's helped implement and support some of our biggest customers. And excuse me, she's been in the pawn industry for 20 years. She also spent some time working at PawnMaster about 10 years ago. And she's also worked in a pawn shop. So she has a wealth of knowledge, not just about pawn software, but also how this is actually functional in a pawn shop. And so she's the go-to expert for product, what's coming, why we're developing something, and what it's like to actually use Bravo in a store. And so she's going to drive today's demo, and I'm going to drive the deck. And up top, there's a chat, and there's also a Q&A. So we will moderate questions and in either of those channels. This webinar is really for you. If you're on it, you've probably already seen the Bravo demo webinar, and you might have deeper questions, or you want to learn more about something specific. And so Kristy and I decided to host this every week on Tuesdays at the same time to basically help answer any of your outstanding questions that you have. So let me dive in just with a little bit about today's agenda. So the first thing I just wanted to touch on is some of the challenges that you might be facing, talk a little bit about our reports and the power of ad hoc. We also are fanatic about training, support, and we've put a tremendous amount of effort over the past 6 months, making sure that Bravo is the most seamless, smooth transition over from PawnMaster. So we'll talk about that and answer any questions as we go. And if you're interested in what next steps might look like for you as you're thinking about and considering transitioning over to Bravo, we can go through those as well. So I just wanted to share a little bit about our company. We really have a passion for small business. I identify as a pawnbroker. I grew up in pawn shops. My dad grew a single store to 50 stores. So most of my weekends were spent in pawn shops. And that's really what we have created here at Bravo. We also hire pawnbrokers. We know that when you call in, you want to talk to somebody that understands and knows your business. We know that when you are looking for software, you want a product that speaks to what you need. And so we have committed and continue to hire people that have spent a lot of time in the industry. We also know software. We've been doing this since '85, and this is our 4th pawn software company, and we've rebuilt it over and over, from an Apple IIe to distributed services, and then now to cloud. So we've been doing this for a really long time. And then the last thing is we are based in the USA. So we understand compliance really well. If you're an FFL, we have the best FFL functionality for pawnbrokers. And we're just really happy that you're here and that we have the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about Bravo. So the problem really is that pawnbrokers are confronting intense challenges. This is sort of a post-COVID world. Maybe inventory is becoming more challenging to turn over. Maybe you're running out of money to lend because of that. Also, compliance and regulations are constantly looming and are becoming more administrative. All of that, in addition to you being required to not just be on the loan counter or selling, but also that you're a great advertiser and that you're a marketer and that sometimes you're the janitor and you might be the bookkeeper, and you're just required to do so much as a small business owner. And there really isn't enough time in the day to be able to do it all. So that's where we'd like to help, and that's where we can come in. These are the most common things that we hear. We do obviously hundreds of demonstrations. We drop into stores all of the time. Costs are increasing, competition, not just from big box retailers and from the big pawn shop chains, but also all of these types of marketplaces and apps and fintech that's really trying to come in and compete with pawn shops. I mentioned increased regulations, especially if you're an FFL. This seems like a never-ending sort of hill to climb. There's less door swings than before, so customers aren't where they used to be, right? Customers are getting younger. Millennials and Gen Zs live on their phones, and so reaching them is going to become and continue to be a new challenge. And then maybe you're just not as profitable as you were. I talk to a lot of pawn shops and say, man, the industry is just not the same as it used to be. So I'm going to pause here for a second. If you can go in the chat and maybe share one of these 6 that you're struggling with, and we can talk about Bravo and how we're here to assist, or maybe something that we haven't heard or that's not listed on here that is facing your business today. Does anybody want to engage with us and participate?
Don't see anybody typing. Oh, it says chat is disabled.
Oh. All right, so instead of going into the chat, go into the Q&A, which is the button right next to chat, and you just can chat there. Sorry about that. All right, not too many questions going on. Kristy, what do you think that we should dive into first?
Yeah, well, I think I've been on a couple of the general demos and not a lot of discussion has been around reporting. And I know reporting is obviously a really important aspect of being a business owner. So I think that's probably a good place to maybe go in, show you some of the favorite reports, in addition to the PawnMaster dashboard report where that's located. If you're currently using that, I know that's a report that's been important to a lot of the customers we've switched over the years. So if you want to stop sharing, I believe then I'll be able to share my screen. Perfect.
Awesome. And while Kristy's talking, if you do have questions, post them and I'll go ahead and moderate and direct her where you'd like to go.
Excellent. So are you viewing my screen right now? Okay, excellent. So the first thing to point out is right here on the dashboard, there are 4 different reports available to you. This uses, they're refreshed every day, and it uses our what's called Bravo Reporting Pro. It's reporting services. And so when you select it, it will go. So if I select I am signed in to the product, when I select employee activity, then it comes out and creates the report on our service. I apologize if you can hear the sirens going off. Okay, good. So because I'm signed in, it's my report and I can view all of today's activity, my month to date activity, or the year to date activity. Each employee is ranked, so they know where they stand. I know in the pawn shop that I worked at, this was like super competitive, who ranked the highest. It was always who had written the most loans or done the most buys. That was kind of like, that's the golden goose egg there. So whoever wrote the most pawns was always in competition. We had really fun, weekly, competitive, but yet fun things that we would do. So everybody was always paying attention to this report. They always wanted to be number 1. The other thing that's kind of fun is it gives you your store rank, your company rank, and here's your Bravo rank. So this one's a really awesome one and a fun one to hear at pawn shows. I'm not sure who holds the #1 spot amongst all of Bravo, but there are some really fun competitions I've heard out there going amongst stores to get in the top 10 of the Bravo rank. Pawnbrokers are giving their employees a huge bonus to get in that top 10 spot. So you can see some of the different KPIs as well as trending graphs. So we can see, you know, how I've done with sales amounts and the profitability of those sales over the last 3 years. You can see it taken a bit of a dip. New loans. So here's my new loans. I've gone up. My forfeitures have gone down. That's good. Although I guess it's like the forfeiture rate over the last 3 years here. So just some great KPIs for your employees to take a look at. And then also you've got a really nice store KPI report here. If you have multiple stores, then you want to look at the company. So we'll kind of compare each store against each other to a grand total. This one's going to show you, you know, probably what, 30 or so different key performance indicators with the current year to date, the past year to date, you know, what happened yesterday and what happened every single month for the past 12 months. Again, this is a really awesome report. Going back to Bravo again, if you're in e-commerce and you're using our integrated solutions, this is going to be an awesome report that you can take a look at. That'll show you all of the different e-commerce metrics.
I did just want to mention too, there are 3 different types of reporting that we have within Bravo. So these dashboard reports that Kristy's talking about are again refreshed for you every night, and they're sort of a preview into the potential of Bravo Reporting Pro. And Bravo Reporting Pro is going to be similar, most similar to KeyDX. So we have that product available. Bravo Reporting Pro takes lots of data and puts them in sort of a format that allows you to analyze, right? These aren't flat reports. They're taking data from your customers, your employees, loan balance, and they're sort of serving it to you, oftentimes in a visualized way to help you make decisions moving forward. The other types of reports we have are ad hoc reporting, which Kristy will show you. And ad hoc reporting is where you can build your own reports within any type category as you want. So if you want to see an inventory report, if you want to say a layaway, a loan, a buy type report, you're going to be able to build those however you'd like. You can save them. You can create the type of view that you want with the columns in the right order. And all of our reports can be exported into 10 different file formats whenever you'd like. And that includes Excel and CSV. So we make those really flexible for you and then exportable so that if you have your own visualization tool that you want to use, you can do that. And then the third is the standard reports. And these are sort of exactly what you would expect, type like closing type reports. This is where your A&D book is going to live. And maybe right now we can show you the PawnMaster dashboard report so that you can see one thing that we've really improved on to make your transition over to Bravo smoother. We know that you're probably used to seeing data in a certain way. And so what we did with this report was we brought it over and we launched this recently.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using this report, it should look familiar.
The one difference is we do snapshot it. So you can go back and run this report at any time and see what the numbers were at that time. No numbers are going to change depending on the date that you run this report. So this is the Bravo business. And then like Tally was mentioning, I'm going to cruise back to the ad hoc. That ad hoc is really one of my favorite places to go. It probably was like the most intimidating for me at first. I was used to, like Tally mentioned, being from PawnMaster and working there for 5 years, 300 different reports to choose from. You know, I know each one of them like the back of my hand. And then when it came to Bravo, I was like, there's only like 40 reports. But the beauty of it is that I can really create a report that is useful to me. So like Tally mentioned, we can go into inventory or really any one of these different criteria, like really imagine the word maintenance after each one of these buttons. This is where, you know, we maintain inventory or layaways, loans and buys, our customers, consignments, so forth. So we'll come down, choose inventory and ad hoc reporting. And then I'm just gonna get rid of some of this. This is what typically pops up. I was on here earlier today playing around. But like she'd mentioned, you can create and save reports. If you've done that in the past, you're just gonna select from the choose save reports down here at the bottom and bring it up. Otherwise, if you want to create a brand new report, you know, we want to get rid of maybe some old inventory. We can come in here and we'll select status equals inventory. We want anything that is over, say, you know, 360 days old. And we really want it to be anything that cost us, say, more than $150, right? I can create a custom name for this report. I can choose who I want to share it with, whether it's store-wide, company-wide, set the number of maximum rows. In a near future version of Bravo, we're going to be doing what's called paginating results. So instead of you having to select the maximum amount of rows, it'll just feed you up the first like 50 rows, and then you just continue to hit the next button. Right now, we limit the amount of results that you get back just for bandwidth, either at your store or for us to make sure that not everybody's pulling reports. That would be huge all at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. It's going to grab my records and then it'll display a total amount up here at the top. Now, the second thing that I can do once I've got this report pulled up, which is cool, is I can create or set the different column headers at the top per report. So by right-clicking on my mouse and selecting Show Column Chooser, I can now drag and drop different criteria into this report. So if I'm more focused on the age of this item, I don't care the date that it came out, I've got the cost. I want to know, you know, maybe what it's priced at. Now I can add in the price. Maybe I don't care that it came from a buy or a loan, right? And then you have the ability, if you select the down arrow, to now save this layout. And then you can go back and save this layout to the report. So you only have to do all of this one time and one time only. And then you just go back and pick it and the report's there. The layout that you like is there and it's totally customized to your preference. Now, it's kind of intimidating at first. We do have tutorials on how to create all of these different ad hoc reports. I encourage you to watch them. But also, if you just want a report created, you're welcome to call in to our team and we're happy to help you do that, especially prior to any conversions. We like to make that change as simple as possible, and having those reports up and ready to queue and already familiar with them prior to going live, we know is super important. So like Tally mentioned, also the last thing is to print any of these reports. You can select print list. And then again, you can choose from 10 different file formats that you actually want to do this report in. So we can export it out by any of these or send it directly out of the system. You can pop it out into a separate window to make it usable. So maybe I want to look up a particular inventory item. I can leave this report up and then just select that I want to view this particular item. And now it's already highlighted.
Maybe Kristy, while you're here, you can show what it looks like if you're somebody that wants to list this item online. So for people that are interested in e-commerce, we do what's called omni-commerce. This means that we're going to post to multiple channels with a single click, and we will manage that listing for you so that if it sells in your store, it will remove it from all of the online channels. If it sells online, it will prompt your store on the dashboard real time that order needs to be either wrap packed or shipped or put away because you have somebody coming in the store to pick it up. And so we also manage the entire return management process. We do the payments. We help manage the shipping, and we also help manage all of the communication to your customer, letting them know that their item is on the way, what their shipping number is so that they can track it if they'd like. So we really take the heavy lifting out of e-commerce for you so that now you can turn that inventory faster.
So yeah, like Tal mentioned, it's super simple. This item has been sitting in my pawn shop for 3,675 days. It's, we just got to get rid of it at this point. So we can go ahead and select edit item. And now I can come in and reprice it. So again, if you remember from the demo, these questions are optional. If you don't want to have employees fill out condition ratings or, how many controllers it has, those questions can be skipped. And then you can just enter them in if you're selling the item online, right? These are questions that online buyers have, so you definitely want to be answering them at this point if you chose not to answer them in the intake of the item. So this also helps create that really nice listing, so customers really understand what they're getting. We have some of the lowest return rates in the industry, and we can say, see now, like based on how we've answered this and today's pricing, what this item should be estimatedly priced at, as well as MSRP. So that's like on the market what it's worth. I need to just get rid of it. Let's put it at $19.99, and then I'm going to choose next. Then reset. Okay. Now to put it online, all I need to do is check this web box. That automatically checks Bauer. I want to put it on eBay and then my own company branded website. I am done. If I want, I can price it on line for a different price. So maybe I want to put it at $25.99 to capture some of those shipping costs, if I want to allow returns or not, and then, the shipping. If you want to allow people to make offers, again, these offers are going to come to the dashboard. If you've got the Bravo Shopkeeper app, your employees can be negotiating, you can accept, you can counter offer, you can just straight up decline an offer. Any additional web notes, you select OK and save. And in literally 3 minutes or less, those items will be up on each one of those channels. And like Tally mentioned, if the item sells, the warning is just going to pop right up in your Bravo dashboard, letting you know that there's a store sale. If it sells in store, it's automatically going to be taken down from any of those channels. So you have no worries of ever, selling an item twice. In the unlikely case that a customer comes in and you just sold it online, Bravo's going to prompt your employee what to do. Do you want to cancel the online sale and sell it to the person in front of you, or let the person in front of you know it's actually been sold? But even
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and this is where Tally mentioned web returns are even included in it, and they just show up right here on the dashboard. If there was one, you'd see that numerical count.
I did just want to mention one more thing. I get a lot of questions about how we drive traffic to Bauer and the impact it can actually make on your store. So when you come over to Bravo, one of the things that you get is a direct link to Google's Merchant Center. We do this on the back end for you. There's nothing, literally nothing involved on your end. But what that allows us to do is feed all of your items that you sell online or that you post online to go directly into Google's product listing ads. A few things happen when it goes into Google's product listing ads. The first is we're making bids on your behalf. Again, there's no additional cost to you. We do this for you, not just to drive in-store traffic, but also online traffic. So a few things happen. The first is we geolocate those items to your location. The most frustrating thing for people that want to shop and are looking for something specific in a pawn shop is that your pawn shop isn't stocked with particular items. So the Google feed, if somebody's looking for a particular DeWalt drill and that's in your store, it's going to pop up just right next to Lowe's and Home Depot. This is going to drive brand new traffic into your store that you've never had before, people that have never been into pawn shops. In fact, 90% of people that come in based on these ads have never been into a pawn shop. You get to capture that customer, teach them about your store, add items to their wish list if you'd like to do that to get them to continue shopping. And you also can add their phone number and their email address so that you can continue marketing to them. So this is a huge benefit. And then we also take the same items and we put them on the domestic map. So sometimes you'll be searching for something, a DeWalt drill, or maybe a one-of-a-kind item, and something that's in your store in Colorado is showing up across the country in New York. So we are doing this on your behalf. As soon as you go and you post an item, that's available on Google within 5 minutes. I think we're the only people that do this. I think it's really incredible, and the results and the ROI are tremendous. So if you're interested in selling on e-commerce, this is a huge benefit. It's a huge lift. I know that it's something different than the way that PawnMaster, E4O, or Cross post it. It's more integrated than that with much less steps and effort involved.
The other report that I just wanted to show, I think I really liked when I made the switch. I thought it was like super helpful in the store, was our loans to expire report. So every morning, you come in, what's sitting there ready to be expired. But it allows you to really go through on a one-to-one basis. Like I know in the pawn shop I worked at, that's what we did. Kind of the first thing that we did was come in and look for those customers who are always on the list, right? They always forget their payment, but they always make good. So we don't want to expire their item if we don't need to. Everything's very workable in here. So if I select customer, it puts all of those customers together, and it's like, oh, Herman is great. I mean, he is going to make his payments. I'm just going to it looks like Herman Munster doesn't have mobile pawn, but he does have text messaging turned on. I can just from this interface, send them a quick hello, like your loans are overdue. I'm going to put them on hold for 2 more days. Come on in and make your payment. I hit send. He's going to receive that message in a few moments. And then I just can highlight all of his loans at once, right click on my mouse, choose place on hold, and then I just choose what kind of hold it is. So we're going to give him, like we mentioned, an extra 2 days. And now it's gone. I could have also put a note in his account, but he's not going to show up. His loans are not going to show back up on the loans to expire list for an additional 2 more days. The other thing that's kind of cool is as you're going through it, you've got a view of the item. You can look up the item details, but you also have access to your customer view, and you can see what kind of customer they are. You can go into their profile, look at all of that customer's history, and really make a decision about what you want to do with that customer. Do you want to expire the loan or not? The other thing you can do is once you've gone through the list, you've found the people, maybe you're looking at items, maybe you don't want to notify certain people, you're able to do all of that. It's all workable. But you also just do have an expire all. So if you're you don't care, you just expire them all. You're one of those people, you don't want to go one-to-one to one. We do have an expire all button, and that'll just move all of these items from the loan to expire bucket into the items waiting to be priced. And that's one of the things that I found to be really useful when switching to Bravo and being in an actual pawn shop is we would assign, certain employees to actually expire the loans or decide what loans are going to get expired. And then a total separate employee was empowered to actually price the items. So it was, 2 separate people. As soon as those items became available, they show up on their individual dashboards, and people just get to work, and things just happen to get done when everybody knows what needs to be done.
Does anyone have questions on that? You can post in the Q&A section. None yet, Kristy.
Okay, cool. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was what we just released last night that became available this morning. And there's just 2 ways to, again, we have a whole LMS system to get you up and training. It's really independent. We've gamified it, so it's actually fun. It's a little competitive, you earn points. Once you get past that and you're live and rocking and rolling in Bravo, and suddenly you're like, how do I, do X, Y, and Z? We've got two options for you. First is our new AI chatbot, and that's Judy. And Judy knows that it's me because I am signed into the system here. So she goes ahead and greets me right away. You can resize the image of this box to be bigger if you like. But the great thing is, if I'm like, okay, how do I add a new customer? And then Judy will give me the directions how. What I can do is flip between the screen where Judy's telling me how to do it and into Bravo. So you can just easily kind of flip between the two of them. And then she's really good about giving an article. So if I need step by step, I can just click on this link that brings me right to the Solutions Center, where she provided me with a video of how to add a new customer.
Can I talk about that for 1 second, Kristy?
Yeah.
So we understand that when you have a customer in front of you, calling tech support becomes sort of a pain. And so one of the things that we've been investing really heavily into is using AI to not just help you evaluate merchandise. We have something that's called predictive pricing that not just tells you past pricing of used items, but also now what that item will sell for in 3 months or 6 months, but also making sure that our organization is using AI to better service our customers. And that comes with better support. And so we know, again, when you've got a customer in front of you, you need a quick answer. We're going to provide that answer as quickly as possible for you, reducing you having to call in for a training question or a quick how-to. This actually gives us more bandwidth to handle more challenging questions, troubleshooting, customer suggestions on a more one-to-one basis. So we are really excited about implementing AI to help assist you with your how-to and training type questions. We also have a phenomenal support team that you can always call us, and we also have a ticketing system. So there's a million different ways that you can get in touch with us, and our support team is really wonderful. We track every single piece of feedback that you give us, and we broadcast it real time across our entire organization. So we have a really good handle on what we call CSAT or customer satisfaction, and we sit around a 95% CSAT. So that's a number that we're really proud of, and we spend a lot of effort in making sure that we do that or better. Just to talk about the training of Bravo, I sort of want to walk through what the process is like if you're considering coming over. So first of all, one of the amazing things that Bravo has been enabled within this transition and this merging is that we now offer an on-prem solution. So I do just want to address that we are keeping Classic. We are continuing not only just to support Classic, but we're selling new Classic stores for stores that are adamant about remaining on an in-store server. What we also get is now you as a pawnbroker have the best access to the #1 on-prem solution and the #1 cloud solution. And we're going to make that transition and path from on-prem over to cloud really easy for you. So the first thing is we have dedicated onboarders and trainers, and our head of the implementation actually comes from Smart Financial, who did a 95 store implementation from PawnMaster to Bravo. And our head trainer is named Kat, and she also was a part of Smart Financial. So in preparation of this merger, we spent a ton of time thinking about how we can make PawnMaster specific training for customers that want to come over. So that includes an amazing conversion. If you think about conversions, the hardest part about a conversion is not understanding the other system. And now we have everybody that built PawnMaster and everybody that built Bravo working together to create this really seamless conversion. And we've actually created a new conversion environment where we can test your store's conversion before you go live. And this will validate that all of the numbers are perfect before you go live without you actually having to do a ton of testing and spending 2 weeks looking at your data. We can actually do this on your behalf in this test conversion environment. So that's really, really phenomenal. If you're an Ignite customer, we have streamlined the Ignite conversion one of the benefits is that Ignite is also on Azure, as are we. So we are able to bring over that data really simply from Azure instance to Azure instance. And so that's what conversion looks like. Conversion's done by a really, really smart team that does this after hours so that you have no business disruption. And while we're planning your conversion and getting it scheduled, like Kristy was mentioning, Kat has built out this amazing learning management tool that's going to take you through courses to get you to be an expert in Bravo, both for your loan associates, sales associates, managers, and as an owner. And we have different courses depending on what you'd like to use within Bravo. And then you also get your onboarding project manager, which is somebody dedicated to your success. So they're going to be walking you through step by step and providing a really white glove experience for you as you come over. And then after you're over, you have a dedicated customer success manager that's going to make sure that your first few months on Bravo is what you expected. And we hope that we are able to exceed your expectations right out of the gate. So we've spent a lot of time thinking how best to support customers. We know that that often means just being available. And so we've doubled the size of a lot of our teams, our development team, conversion team, and support team, to be able to really talk you through and support you through the initial transition. So that's a little bit about what this will look like. And if you're interested, you can always call us. You can go to our website and submit a form. We'll probably post a link for you to be able to do that. Or one of our amazing sales team people will be reaching out to you. So within the next 60 days, every single PawnMaster customer will get a call from us, and we can talk you through your next options, whether you want to renew with Classic and continue on-prem, or whether you want to switch over to cloud, and we'll provide, again, that really easy, seamless transition from on-prem to cloud.
Okay, I think the last thing I wanted to show, if there was no questions, and I don't see any in there yet, was the Solution Center. So this is just one more place that you can go to find Bravo related stuff. So for instance, you have a suggestion. Under here, you can go to the suggestions, discussions, and learnings. We also have a lot of customers that love just to go out to the Facebook. We do gather feedback from Facebook and bring it into a board so that it gets considered in the customer suggestions as well. We read every one of these. As you can see, they're answered, whether the item is actually planned or not. Sometimes if it's, pending, so we just put out a release, we'll go back in and update this for anything that's planned to let people know that it was in the last release. So again, speaking about releases, all of our release notes are always available here as well. So you can see all of the releases that have happened. We do webinars prior to release. I usually post those on our YouTube channel. If you haven't hit up our YouTube channel, wealth of knowledge there. Again, there's user guides in here, all sorts of different webinars and videos we've done, ways to contact us, information just about E4473, reports, things involving Mobile Pawn or Bravo Reporting Pro. So you can come in here really and start searching around. A lot of knowledge and a lot going on there.
Awesome.
So anything anybody would like to deep dive, something that they were hoping to see in any one of the demonstrations they haven't been able to see so far? Well, I think we just did a fantastic job answering everybody's questions.
I think so too. If you do have any questions at all, I will we'll post our contact information, so you can always get in touch with us via email or phone. And we will again be doing these every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So if we didn't cover something that you wanted to cover today and you think about it over the coming days, come back, join us on Tuesday. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you ask questions. And I think that that will do it for today. If you're interested in this recording, which we are recording, you can find those on our website. We have a tab called resources, and there you can register both for upcoming webinars and also for on-demand webinars. And on-demand is just a fancy way of saying they're recorded. So you can go and check out our recorded webinars as well. There they are. And if you are in a state that, or if you're a pawnbroker that goes to conventions, we have a convention coming up next weekend in Texas. And so we are heading to Galveston. And if you would like to swing by and see us, we would love for you to come talk to us about Bravo, how to make this transition smooth. But we go to every trade show that the pawn industry has to offer. So if we miss you at TAP, we will see you at, I think Midwest is the following one.
I think it's the Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. We'll see you in
Yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.